Consulting, Expanding Opportunities for Success, Part 2. My name is Joshua Amos. I'm the Components Liaison for IFMA, and I work with the FMCC. And I do want to let you know you all have been muted for audio quality. If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to type them into the chat box. We will be doing a Q&A session at the end of the webinar, and we certainly do encourage your participation in the webinar. There will be sent out after the webinar the PDF of the PowerPoint as well as a link to the recording. It will also be posted on the FMCC website for your convenience. Okay, Kit, do you want to take it from there? Kit? Kit?
Okay, well, Joshua, maybe Kit lost connection. I'll start this real quick. So welcome, everybody. We are going to be doing sustainability and FM consulting, expanding opportunities for success. And, oh, you know what, Joshua, I won't be able to change slides because Kit has
I'll switch you over.
Okay. So just hold on. But anyway, this is part 2 of this series that Kit and I have put on. And I'm going to have to go back to my Okay, so this is put on by the FMCC, the Facility Management Consultants Council. Our vision statement and mission statements are up. We're really a global tribe of participants. We're specialists in facility management, but we're, we have different partners who have different expertises. We're a one-stop shop for advice as well as specific solutions. And because of the broad spectrum of our FM consultants, we have expertise in all 11 competencies. So we know people and they know things. So we really want you to be able to reach out to our people. So how we can help. We have online educational resources. We ask the expert. Many members are experienced FMs, facility managers who have graduated from corporate or government or public entities and gone into business of their own. Most of us are experienced, but we also want to impress upon everybody that being a consultant is running a business, and part of the FMCC structure is to tell people and advise people on how actually to run a business, marketing, sales, finance, and all that good stuff. Being a good FM is one thing, but running your own business is completely separate, so that won't be covered too much in this presentation, but it's something that we do offer for our members. The FMCC is here to help. So we would like to thank our sponsors. Our platinum sponsor, ISS Facility Services, is a global FM service entity. And Kane Consulting, Barbara Jo Kane is past president of the FMCC, and we'd like to thank them very much for supporting us. So today's presentation, Joshua has introduced himself already. The presentation title, Sustainability and FM Consultants, and Kit will be back on, I trust, and I'm Bill Conley. So presentation logistics. Polls will be used throughout the seminar. We'll have a Q&A at the end of the presentation, a quick survey. This is recorded, but your participation is greatly appreciated because even though Kit and I are going to be presenting information to you, we really would like to get your feedback and your interaction on is this beneficial, and any ideas or thoughts you've had that fall into this realm. So the learning objectives are basically to incorporate sustainable practices into your day-to-day business processes. And what that means is basically, hold on, I've lost myself here, get it into your clients and prospective clients' processes. We feel that sustainability is a very valuable tool, and that consultants especially should know as much as they can about it, because there is a demand, and if there isn't demand, we want to create a demand for integrating sustainability into corporate entities. So we will be doing a poll. This is our first poll, and what we'd like to do is we would like to find out what the audience is, what it's comprised of. So Joshua, if you could do this poll for us, I'd appreciate it. And we just want to get an idea of to whom we're talking today. So we'll take a couple of minutes to do that.
Okay, give me just 1 second.
There we go. You got me now?
Oh, yeah. Hey. So, okay, Kit, welcome back. We're on poll number 1, which is slide 8.
Great. So have you introduced the poll? Where are you? People?
Yeah, it's been launched.
Okay.
Joshua's just going to do it in a second.
Yes,
Okay.
and it says 100% have been consulting for 5 or more years.
So Kit, I guess that's the result of the poll.
Yes, 100% for 5 or more years.
Well, I don't have my sidebar, so where'd my sidebar go? Where's my sidebar?
There's a little orange arrow at the top left, top right rather.
I don't see anything up there. I mean, there's no box. It just disappeared on me again. Even though I'm a presenter, I can't see the box.
No, I switched you off being a presenter now,
Okay.
so you might not have the box anymore. I just switched it over to Bill.
Okay, good. All right. Then Bill's got slide control. I do.
Yeah, Bill has slide control.
Good. Okay, great.
All right, so Kit, we just the bios real quick.
So, you want me to take on from here as planned, or you want to?
Yeah, if you don't
okay.
mind.
So now that I've got the ability to talk and be seen and do some things, we're going to do a quick introduction. As you can see, I've been around the facility management world for about 40 years now total, both in public practice, in institutional practice as well as consultant. I spent most of my working career at the Hewlett-Packard Company, manufacturing, engineering, management, and I had 25 years in either as a facility manager, facility engineer, and then ended up as a global director of FM and environmental health and safety for the company. I'm now a consultant, instructor, advisor, and mentor to the global FM community, and I was a chairman of the association back in 97 and 98. So that's my credentials. Bill?
Yeah, I'm a facility management sustainability consultant. I've been active for about 40 years. I built a green building back in 1992 when I was working with Verifone, which I ended up being a part of Hewlett-Packard, which is where I met Kit.
That's right.
So for over 20 years, I've been pushing sustainability because I understand the benefits of it. Having managed a facility for 5 years, it was actually a green building before green buildings were the current rage. So I have been on the IFMA board. I'm still on the IFMA Sustainability Committee, and you might see me in the FMJ. I tend to contribute a lot of articles to the FMJ.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. And Kit, I think I still have control, so I'm just going to go to
I've got it right here. Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
I can see it and I can control it. Okay, so webinar introduction. So this, as Bill said, we've all said at the top of the telecast here, this is a part 2 of a webinar for consultants and the people who use consultancy services to help them run their business better and adding the perspective of sustainability. So a real brief highlights from last year webinar, Expanding Opportunities. We're talking now about how to really capitalize. So here's kind of what we talked about briefly, which was the whole marketing and business development, using sustainability as a way to differentiate your firm from other consulting firms who may be traditional, maybe architectural, or some consulting focus, but may not bringing sustainability to the forefront in terms of some of the offerings. So that was certainly one topic we talked about. And then adding value in the eyes of your clients or prospective clients in terms of bringing them some new information and showing them how sustainability can help them in ways that maybe they haven't really thought of before. And by incorporating sustainability practices that could very well help with performance management, could help with their contracts, their suppliers, supporting real existing business objectives, because the bottom line of working with sustainability is the bottom line, really helping the companies not just be good environmental stewards, but do that while meeting shareholders and stakeholders' expectations. And so taking that point of view in your engagements, we recommend as a way to sort of add perspective and differentiate you from other people. What are some of the successful approaches that have been used by people in the consulting businesses? Certainly, sustainability business is business, as I said. It could result in practical outcomes that the business is interested in. For example, less utility use because you're doing some energy savings or energy conservation, water conservation measures could be less cost to your operating cost. Healthy workforce by instituting indoor environmental quality principles and watching out for the temperature management and things like that could in fact increase the productivity of your workforce, and that indirectly will get around to reducing your costs, and could also enhance customer satisfaction for client-facing organizations. Other approaches is discovering opportunities. In some cases, in many cases, in fact, when you're working with a sustainability perspective, often assessments are very key. What is happening now? And in many cases, clients aren't really sure. They haven't really taken time to do the assessment. And so bringing that rigor in as a consultant from a sustainability perspective would certainly, again, make you more attractive as a consultant, because you've understood the principles of assessments and how they work, not just for sustainability, but for other aspects as well. Interpreting the request for information, in some cases replying back as a consultant to or a consultant with a client to say, we'd like to include some sustainability aspects, and see if kind of reinterpreting the RFI would be a way to help find a sweeter spot for the engagement. Planning ahead certainly is important. How do your prospective clients deal with sustainability now? What are they doing? So you can harmonize with that, doing some R&D about the client, and say, I see you have some initiatives ongoing. Let's see if we can integrate those into the project that you're asking me about today. And of course, the whole client relationship selling aspect is informing clients of new opportunities and risks and solutions, and saying there are some ways, and best practices is a great way to sell clients, to say, you're not alone. Others have been in your situation, and here's what they've done, and here's their results. And that's really a very strong offering that you can make to your clients.
Yeah, and Kit, if I can, before we go to the next slide, if I can, it's been said that no one is more persuasive than a good listener, and I pulled a quote from our last session that I just wanted to throw back in there, and I forget who said it, but it's a quote from a consultant, and I learn more about my clients by asking questions than by telling them about me. Now, that may sound like common sense once you hear it, but, the light bulb goes, you've got to listen to their expectations. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Okay. The agenda for today is sustaining business practices. My analogy is, water and fertilize. Keep the big changing picture and focused for your clients, and making sure that they are aware of the changing business practices. So we'll talk about how do you how do you do that? You can interpret this two ways: it's sustaining your own business practices as a consultant and practicing what we preach, but also helping the clients understand that things change like crazy, and how do we sustain business practices using the principles of sustainability throughout their life cycle of their organization. Providing added value, in many cases not bringing just what we know to the table, but the benefit of a consultant that's well plugged in to other consultants and to the marketplace can certainly bring in that information that comes from networking with others. So that's certainly one place to add value, going above and beyond, basically turning FM solutions into business solutions, and not just solving what the FM sees as the immediate problem, but asking them, if you solve that problem, what else happens within the organization that we can also help you leverage and be an even bigger success, and be looked at as a contributor to the whole organization, and not just a contributor to the facility management function. Preparing for the future, maybe formalizing some of the R&D and some of the training aspects for the client to make sure that they can own and continue to prosper and learn with respect to sustainability. That's certainly something that we can bring to the party, and something to do that, we have to be that. We have to keep ourselves informed as to what some of those new issues are, and new researches and solutions that are brought out of the table. And consistency for success. I mean, nothing succeeds like success. And performance management tools and reporting is a big part of a sustainability program in many cases, because it's obligated if you're in an environment where that's required. Certainly getting expertise in that performance management area, so you can be comfortable in helping your clients also be good in managing their performance. So there are some topics that we can look at today that are a little bit different than what we talked about last time. Sustaining business practices. Every organization is going through some degree of change any given time. They're never, nothing's ever pushed. You can't push the pause on a business. It's either growing, it's staying stable, or it's shrinking, or there's forces impacting those organizations all the time. And so from a growth standpoint, helping companies grow, understanding growth, maybe through new offerings with partnerships or joint ventures. There may be a way to sustain business practices and helping grow. If you are well-versed in sustainability as a client, you may be either more attractive or more interested in acquiring other companies that can add value, and you become the attractive partner. Review and refresh and renew is certainly always looking for the new and challenging assignments for you as a consultant. And in many cases, some of those challenging assignments can be tied into sustainability initiatives, either that you put on the table or the client thinks is important. Anticipating trends. Here's where networking within the FM organization, networking within the services community and associate members of IFMA, for example, keeping up and reading in a lot of the periodicals, attending seminars, attending webinars, to be able to anticipate what are those trends, so you can bring the latest and greatest to your clients and not yesterday's news. The long-term view is important. You're changing, your clients are changing, and being able to speak about what are some of those future states that are being talked about. In many cases, organizations have strategic plans. Some of them might even have longer range plans. There may be some other initiatives that are being considered that if you can find out what those are by asking the open questions, you might be able to bring better value by incorporating those perspectives into your current projects. And then, of course, the next next client, being aware of, in some cases, how clients can bring you clients either through a recommendation, referrals, but having, you want to keep a stable client. In many cases, sustainability is a type of assignment that can go on for some time because these sustainable initiatives are put in place not one and done, but they're put in as a program, as an ongoing living program, and gives you a chance to stay connected to them. And you know, staying on top is one way to stay on top is to practice a lot of these business practices. So that's the objective for us as consultants, is to really be creative and bring something new based on what is inevitably going to be an objective for every organization. Some of them know it now, and others just haven't figured it out yet, and our job is to help them figure that out in a gentle, kind way. Here's another poll, incorporating sustainability. So 3 options here. In your environment today, are you totally integrated with the tools of sustainability and the processes in terms of doing assessments, certifications, training programs, energy performance management proposals? Are those all the kinds of offerings and client solutions you have right now, or do you incorporate what you can incorporate when the client asks you? So in the first case, it's very proactive. In the second case, it's when poked, do a response. And the third thing is maybe it's not a big part of my business offerings at present. So kind of splitting off those 3 perspectives. Take a minute to vote, and we'll see. Joshua can tell us what the results are.
100% said not a big part of my business at present.
Aha. Okay. Well, then this is hopefully there'll be a lot coming out of the seminar and the refresher from the previous seminar on this topic to give you some added perspective about how sustainability can provide avenues for client engagement. And in some cases, and Bill will talk about this too at our transition point here, about some clients don't even know that this is an issue that can be helping them. So they need to be approached differently than clients that already have an understanding of what sustainability is. You might be able to resonate with either a new client or existing clients that they want access to the latest ideas. That's why they're going outside their own organization to say, who can help me? What information do you have that I do not have? And offering and bringing that to the table because you are connected can be perceived as a differentiator for your organization as a consulting services firm versus picking somebody else. Tracking trends. If you're tracking the trends, if you are aware of what's happening with respect to how the physical buildings themselves are changing, and the construction and the systems and the renovations that can take place. Magazines is a source for the consultant to track trends and see what's going on in other parts of the world without having to get up and travel there. And again, tracking what other consultants are doing. Most consultants are fairly open about the kinds of assignments. They may not tell you who it is, but they'll tell you what they're doing, and that might be a way for you to bring some new perspectives to attract a new client. Client check-ins, stay current on needs. Even the past clients, even when you think the job is done, there may be a new perspective that you may want to reopen a contact with your clients and stay in touch with them. Referrals are sweet. It's great to have a referral where you can say, gee, I did a job for HP or Cisco or for the local manufacturing company in my town, and they really did a good job, and thought we did a good job, and I helped them, ask for, would they like to do a program at the next meeting of some kind where you and the client get up and talk about what worked. In many cases, that attracts clients to you as a consultant, to whatever your whatever your offerings are. Yeah.
And Kit, I just had one thing to add. I came up with, we want to create our own CSR, and our CSR is our corporate sustainability reputation. You know, so referrals are sweet, and then, you know, not only use those, but use our reputation in success and sustainability world to create our own CSR, which will carry us to get new clients. Just a cutesy thought.
Yep, exactly. What are some of the sustainable lessons that can be learned? Certainly, and by incorporating sustainability in your business, both for you as well as for your clients as you pick them up, is, as I said, sustainable solutions and approaches are good for the environment, but they're great for business. And so, you know, translating the business focus to the client. How do you make sure that your client's business objectives are met first, and then your other projects objectives have to tie in clearly with those. And so, as you're more successful, you have better offerings. The clients see different kinds of solutions coming to bear that you can bring to the party. Continuing excellence, both on your part and your client's part. This is the old teaching, giving someone fish to eat versus teaching them how to fish, and training your clients how to stay smart, and helping them understand what continuing excellence looks like. And so reviewing your portfolio of past work and matching that up with what you know is happening now, and say, is there a refresher opportunity here? In many cases, one way to help share success lessons is to try to find opportunities to co-present projects where there's been a success, where you and the client get together and make a presentation at an association meeting or someplace that's a chance for the client to talk about what's worked well for them, speaks well to you, but it also shares knowledge. So that's certainly one lesson. Constancy of purpose, I think creating sort of your own business models and procedures that you really have a consistent outlook. People see you, people who work with you know what to expect. It's not a one-off. Whenever time they work with Bill or Kit, they know what to expect and how we're driven in our own business. That comes across, and clients appreciate that as well. And I think it's easier to run our business when we have a constancy of purpose and what we're trying to accomplish. A long-term outlook certainly is important. Sustainability is here to stay. It's going to change and evolve in terms of how it's impacting business in the world as a whole. And so we want to have a matching long-term outlook, that we're not just going to do something and walk away, that we really want to sustain those successes. And so putting in place those kinds of markers, putting in place performance tracking mechanisms, and then validating that your clients are continuing to use those, and asking for copies of some of those sustainable results from time to time can be helpful. I mean, you have to watch out for the privacy issues, but generally just demonstrating that you have a long-term outlook and give some credibility to what it is we're trying to help our clients with. What are some of the real clients' needs? Don't assume that either you or the client are totally accurate in what's going on and what's working and what's not working. So asking the client, validating client assumptions with, are they realistic? Do they have documented results? Can they prove the results? And it's sometimes tough to ask the question, maybe at the top of the engagement, to say, I'm going to ask some very difficult questions, or what may seem to be difficult questions, but in some cases we've been doing things the same way so long we don't realize there's a potential issue there. And so finding out what is and what isn't working with the client is very, very important in getting them to buy into that. And it's not uncommon for a consulting organization or a consultant as an individual getting too enamored around what they think the right plan is and getting their plan implemented, even though that may not be what's best for the client. And so, working with the existing reporting mechanisms, reinforce what's going on and make sure that you're tying your solution into existing capabilities and procedures and cultures of the organization. Sometimes there is a culture requirement if you're talking about changing some procedures that involve the human workplace engagement, whether it's energy use, lighting, temperature controls, environmental quality. Those kinds of things can be difficult for clients to accept. And so you may have to talk about putting a change management component in place to be successful in implementing what really needs to be done. We talked about metrics and scorecards. Don't assume that none are there. There may be some. They may be old and dusty, but workable. There may be other parts of the organization that are responsible for implementing metrics and scorecards. And so finding that out in advance and then tapping into those and involving those people can certainly help you buy client trust into what you're doing. And again, staying in touch and following up with client solutions, especially after you're done or think you're done. That just tells them that you really are interested, and that may drive new business again because you're still saying, I'm here and I'm interested. Providing added value, being sensitivity to opportunities, kind of what else is coming, what other needs are changing, and is there some way to reposition those needs in your approach to the client that gives you another opportunity. In many cases, sustainability initiatives either bring in ways of thinking, cultural attitudes, management engagement, sorry for my voice, that might work with other initiatives the company has too. So you may find yourself in a potentially awkward situation where your sustainability success, you get asked questions about something that you may not have particular expertise. Well, there is a thing called the FM Consultants Council, for example, where the consultants can tap into other consultants within the IFMA organization that are doing other types of associated consulting services, and any kind of referral is great because you never know when someone's going to give you one back. So if you're known as a person who shares expertise, people will tend to want to work with you as well. So that's certainly one way. That's the whole synergy kind of a thing. You're not just looking at isolated solutions. You're looking at integrated solutions. Thinking inside the client's boxes, really finding out how they work. And as Bill said, listening is way more important in that case than talking. What are they, how are they approaching? What are they using as a prioritization process, and how does that work? And again, there may be, by looking at other options in this whole integrated options and solutions, there may be a way to get a better payoff, with a combined project that hadn't been thought of before. If the client looks at just a list of possible things, and you say, I look at this list, I see three main groupings of projects that you might want to consider because they're related, and the payback will be significant enough to get attention to by the management team. So those are ways to think about how do you add value to a current or to a future assignment. I'm going to just my last slide, which is good because you're probably not able to understand my voice, but at the very, very beginning of an assignment, when someone comes up to you and says, hey, you're a consultant, right? Can you help me with A, B, C, or D? And as you start to engage a client, either informally or even formally, is to ask yourself in the back of your mind, do they know what they don't know? Are they asking questions that speaks to the fact that they know what they don't know, and they've done some investigation, and what they're looking for is options and case studies and specific solutions to a problem that they understand very well. And in which case that might, be a quicker engagement path to a sustainability-focused consulting project. On the other hand, if they're talking like they don't know what they don't know, that when you talk about your score keeping system or metrics or whatnot, and they go, huh? They don't even know what that might be, then don't offer them options or case studies or solutions. They have to get into a discovery mode, and so you're changing your focus right off the bat from here's an answer to here's the questions we need to ask. And that leads to other services, maybe earlier services before the actual project can be identified, and that's going through a discovery process. Some cases, some of this may be done, quote, at no expense, no cost to the client. Other cases, it may be a necessary expense to do a discovery process or do some benchmarking or involved in training and educating and taking some courses so people have the right vocabulary and the right perspective to understand what they're facing and what they need to know before engaging into a larger contract. So just think about, ask this question. I mean, it's not an explicit answer you're going to get, but it's a feeling you have. If they have no knowledge about some of the things you're talking about, well, that could very much hamper your ability to get an assignment because they don't think it's important or don't know about it. So you've got to go back and help them understand that first, and then carry on. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Wild Bill.
Yeah, and I'm going to stay on this slide for a second because this is a great, I'm sure we've all heard of the differences between a champion and the insurgent in facility management, and this is a good case in point. For the first bullet, they know what they don't know. If they bring you in knowing what they don't know, you're coming in as a champion. They want you to tell them what they don't know and help them, through your options and your case studies, but tell them how they can better themselves. If they don't know what they don't know, then you come in more as an insurgent, introducing revolutionary thinking to the way they're doing things and giving them information that they wouldn't otherwise have. So I think this is a really good example of the difference between being a champion where you're coming in with the blessings or an insurgent when you're coming in and saying, hey guys, did you know, and here's why it helps you. So I just wanted to throw that in there for that one. So integrating solutions. There's a perception out there that sustainability means you have to change everything you're doing, that, oh my God, it's a complete change management, and it really isn't. It's expanding on what exists. It's integrating sustainability solutions into what's happening already. You're merging the new with the old, your systems, your procedures, your metrics. It's basically changing focus, not changing everything. And measuring and monitoring is extremely important no matter what you're doing, but especially with sustainability because it gives you proof of the pudding. There are challenges with big data. You have to be able to track the right things. So when you merge new with the old, you want to make sure that the right things are being tracked. There's an old saying about CAFM where you could take a pencil and track it from the time the tree was cut down for the wood into the time you throw it out. Yeah, you could do that, but do you really want to? So you have to make sure that you're picking your right targets. And again, integrate sustainability with all existing practices because it enhances what's going on in the company. Helping clients plan for the future. I'm going to go back and revisit the Brundtland definition for sustainability just for kicks, and that is basically sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And this came about in 1983. It's been the standard definition of sustainability for a long time. Well, I've come up with a bit of a change, and if you hear this later on 20 years from now, you'll know that you heard it first, but sustainable organizations are designed to maintain their excellence by ensuring that resources and operations are managed in the present to sustain the company into the future. That's what we want to do. We're introducing sustainability and conservation of resources and health of our employees to sustain that business, to make it a long-term business, to keep it going. We have to keep an eye on legislation. We have to make sure that our clients and customers, prospective or otherwise, know that legislation coming down the pike is really a business aid. A lot of people see legislation as big brother and too hands-on, but a lot of the things that legislation introduces, energy efficiency, high-performance buildings, even cap and trade for carbon, is really a business aid. It will help companies succeed in the future. Reporting, whether it's GRI reporting or even if you go through the LEED process, just not for certification per se, but just to take a look at what you're doing, it helps you assess the corporation. It helps assess where they're strong, where they're weak, and help them become stronger in the workplace and become more competitive, because sustainability right now is one of the linchpins of competitiveness. Sustainability is a grassroots, consumer-driven, employee-driven movement, and the sooner companies get that and understand that they should be delivering to their clients and to their employees what they want, it increases their competitiveness in the marketplace. Discover, this is a two-way street here, not only for consultants to discover what's going on through education and research and keeping ahead of the curve, but also understanding the corporate needs and making sure that corporations or your clients realize the importance of education and research on their own. What's going on in their industry, what's helping them, that you can work in tandem with them to do this, but you need to help clients understand they need to be educated. And we need to frame those needs so that sustainability is seen as a good solution to a lot of their problems, whether it's the FM needs or specific client needs. Sustainability provides a lot of solutions to issues that are out there right now that sometimes don't have a resolution. It's a very powerful tool that can help both consultants succeed and companies succeed. So plan to be smarter. There are professional development plans for the FM team and others involved. Make sure that A, you subscribe to that, and B, you help your clients with those. Help empower employees and clients to develop further on the sustainability side, because this is the wave of the future, this is what's happening, and it makes business sense. We've all talked about the triple bottom line, that people, planet, profits. Well, the profits is what everybody focuses on. Both the FM team and the corporate can understand that profit comes from doing things sustainably. It saves money, it increases and improves productivity. It really helps all around. You also want to get referrals to others who have been successful. Like I said, create your corporate sustainability reputation so that people know, if I've got an issue, if I've got a problem, there's a consultant out there that can help me. And also make sure that people understand there are local and corporate solutions because of local legislation versus global corporations or even, multi-state corporations. Legislation, culture, things like that change. So you have to be a little bit flexible in your approach to your clients, in that one size does not fit all. You have to make sure that you have framed your recommendations and framed your advice to fit wherever you are and whatever state that corporation is in. Now, IFMA helps a lot in this. We're going to get down to stuff that a lot of people may already know, but I'm going to go over it anyway. IFMA education, there's the FMP certificate. If you're an associate member or a professional member, especially new to even consulting, the FMP certificate will help you understand what your clients are going through. It'll help you better understand some of their needs, because it really gives a down and dirty look at what facility management actually is. A lot of us who've been in the industry a long, long time have lost touch with the operations and maintenance side of it. We're looking more at the strategic level, and I'm speaking for myself, but I think it's, if not universal, it's fairly prevalent in this type of group. We have to get back to the basics really to understand the client's problems, needs, and challenges. Then there's the SFP. Now that's fairly new, but it's still moving along fairly well, and that's the Sustainability Facility Professional. Again, if you want to take the information that you learned with the FMP and even the 11 competencies and how sustainability slants it and how you integrate sustainability portion of operations and maintenance, or actually the whole ball of wax, really, all the 11 competencies to tie. The SFP is a great certificate to get because it really gives you everything you need to know about integrating sustainability into corporations, from management and strategy down to leading and managing in the workplace down to the operations and maintenance side. So again, for you to fully be able to talk to your clients on a one-to-one basis, knowing this stuff, and actually knowing more than the client. I think the clients bring us in because they can't do something for whatever reason, knowledge, time, whatever. We have to show that we know more than they do, okay? That's one of our little edges. We have to show that we not only understand their needs, but can help them because we have the knowledge and experience to move them. All the CFP materials have been revamped. We've integrated sustainability into all 11 of them now so that they all kind of interact with each other. And there's a new FM learning system, which is an online tutorial that covers all 11 competencies that's being offered. And finally, on this particular slide, the environmental stewardship and sustainability competency, which is very, very comparable to the SFP, a lot of the same lessons in there. But for the CFM, if you want to take the CFM exam, or if you already are a CFM, it's something you should look into because it will help guide any professional, but especially consultants, into what's important in the workplace today. We also have our sustainability how-to guides. These are available on the IFMA website as downloads. We have 13 of them now, or 14, excuse me. Anything from getting started to carbon footprint to lighting to waste management to, you know, it's a bunch. You should take a look at them. But either look at them for your own information to kind of fill in gaps, or if a client or another consultant asks you, do you know, you've got resources available to you right there. They're very well written. They're written by practitioners and subject matter experts. They're not over anybody's head. They're basic, down to earth. They're excellent resources. So it's something that you should look into to help you better your career.
Hey, Bill.
Yes.
Just an add-on to the guides occurs to me that from a consulting standpoint, that if a client says to you, Bill, well, hey, Bill, I'm an IFMA member, or I've gone to the IFMA website and I was told that there's these kind of how-to guides out there, kind of the dummy's guide to something, and saying, I don't know if I really need you because I can go do this. Well, you know, when someone hands you the instruction manual for the operating a nuclear reactor, chances are you're going to be better off if you have an operator standing there with you before you start teeing that thing up. So, and in a crazy analogy. So, okay, so you might say, I can help you interpret and apply these guideline information to your particular project and act as an interpreter, and that should be worth clients' money as well, to say, I want someone to help me tie this in versus me trying to figure out how to apply it. So you become the application note, and that should be worth some money.
Right. Yeah. Good point. But again, it's a tool that we can offer and help interpret and help them interpret. You know, and then they can always have it, and then when they have questions, they can call you back. You know, so that's part of the sustaining the business. Right?
Exactly.
Okay. My button's not working.
Plan to get notice.
Yeah, I know, but my thing's not moving. Well, the next slide says plan to get noticed, and what it does is talks about creating visibility for yourself through marketing, speaking, writing, doing your own PR, creating visibility and creating credibility. Again, you know, there's a number of different markets out there that you can go to. You can go right on the FMJ. You can present at World Workplace, at Facility Fusion, present at local chapters. Local chapters are always looking for speakers that they can get for free, you know, but again, it's just to increase your visibility and your credibility. Council webinars like this one, I know that we're always looking for people to come onto the webinar, and so I'm trying to get this going again. There's a community. IFMA now has a sustainability community. It's community.ifma.org, and sustainability. You can sign up for that. It's got blogs and discussions and webinars and Q&As and stuff like that. It's a great resource, and again, it's a great place for you to share your ideas, and also a great place to get answers for questions and stuff like that.
Gives you some visibility because people can not just read about what your website says about you, but they can hear you dynamically on a web blog or in response to a question that's been put out there. They can say, that's an interesting thought. You know, it's kind of just came in yesterday or whatever, and it tells people you're current, you're aware, and you're connected.
Right. So, okay, I'm back on track here. We're running out of time, and we want some Q&A time, so I'm just going to kind of breeze through these real quick.
Okay.
Change ahead of the times. Value proposition. Why do you do this? You're doing this because you can help clients succeed. You can sustain your business and sustain their business, and make money while you're doing it. Change management. It's basically show me the proof of the pudding. Again, if you're there, you've got to be able to tell them why this is going to help them and how this is going to help them. Sustainability is a holistic process. It's taking a look at the whole organization. You find gaps in how the organization is running, whether it's facility management or even into the purchasing and HR realm, because we have to get into environments before purchasing. We have to get into productivity, and then make your recommendations. And consultant as a leader. There's an old saying, managers do things right, leaders do the right thing. Consultants as a leader, we have to go out there and show people that sustainability is the right thing for a number of reasons. Profits being number one, but there are other considerations too. But sustaining the business, sustaining the company is a very important aspect of sustainability. So what? We hope that we've helped you understand a little bit on how to retain clients. By proving your future value, how to attract clients by creating your reputation, expanding your opportunities for long-term success. Again, sustainability, sustaining your company, sustaining your business, and expanding that business, and then sustaining it from there on too. So we hope that's what you learned today. That's what we aimed at. Anyway, but even part of that, if you picked up some of it and you can go and look it up, that would be great. So. Real quick, there's 4 consulting approaches: idealism, pragmatism, realism, and opportunism. I'll explain them real quick. Idealism is this is the way we'd love it to be. Pragmatism is this is the way it should be. Realism is this is the way it is. And opportunism is here's an opportunity that I can take to help people. Now there's a perception of opportunism that it's selfish, and if it is, so be it. If we see opportunities and take advantage of it, and it's a selfish reason, i.e., to make money and create our reputation in our business, that's business. So what we'd like to do in the next poll is just very quickly, how would you define your current approach to prospective existing clients? Would you think yourself as idealistic, pragmatic, realistic, or opportunistic? So if you just take a second, and we want an honest evaluation here because we want you to look at how you approach business and how you approach people, and is it the right approach? So if you just, and this is for your own benefit, not ours, but just take a second and think about that.
Okay, Bill, we have 50% pragmatic and 50% realistic.
Okay. So again, the opportunistic, we have to take advantage of opportunities. So that's just, now, I'm sorry. One last thing, you can also use this as sort of a twisted Myers-Briggs thing. If you know how your client approaches business, whether they're idealistic, pragmatic, realistic, or opportunistic, you have a better idea of how to approach them, and you also have a better idea of how to tweak what they're doing to help them become more successful. So this is a two-way street. A, how are you? And B, what are your clients like, and how can I work with them knowing their predilections? So, so again, you can use this as a bit of a tool as you go forward into life. So, coming attractions, Joshua, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Okay, great. Yes. We do have some webinars coming up in the next couple of months, and of course World Workplace, FMCC will be doing a track there as well. If you go to the next slide, I think it's our Q&A. Does anybody have any questions? If you do, we have a fairly small group, so you can just raise your hand and I can unmute you. Or if you feel better just typing the questions to me in the text box, I'll be happy to feed the questions to Bill and Kit. Okay, I'll give you just a moment.
You can always use my favorite question, why is there error?
So that we can keep it clean.
Yes, right. Consulting opportunities for consulting services.
Okay, while we're waiting for some questions, I do want to remind people at the end of the webinar there is a survey when you exit. We do encourage you to partake in that survey. The FMCC does eagerly review those results to help improve our content and the webinars for you.
Yeah, and Kit and I would like to know how you felt about this too, because as we go into part 3, which we'll be doing sooner or later, it'll give us a better idea of how to frame that one.
Okay, and if you do have any questions after the fact, you just think about them, just go ahead, and I know Kit and Bill are very generous and they'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Or you can also email me, joshua.amos, A-M-O-S, @ifma.org.
Super.
Anything you two want to add before we end for the day?
No, we'd like to thank everybody very much for joining us today. We hope we were of value to you. And again, the FMCC, that's why we're here. We're out there to help consultants become better consultants and also to learn for ourselves. Kit, do you have anything?
My comment would be if you know people who are looking for consultants, certainly put them to the FM Consultants Council. If you know clients are looking for some help with sustainability, they might appreciate how the consultants themselves look at their own business, and go to the website. This will be posted in several days on the website as a webinar, so for members of the FMCC. So I encourage people to look at it after the fact too.
Okay, Bill, I think there's a couple more slides. If you could go advance one more.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, and I just want to let people know these are other councils that we have out there that you might be interested in as well. Were you going to say something, Kit?
I think, as I said before, there are lots of different types of businesses that people run in the facility management world. So seeing the types of councils that are out there, there may be affinity groups that can be a way for you to just in general be more successful as a facility manager or as a consultant. Or if you're consulting into these types of sectors, then go to the councils and see what they do. Go to their watering hole. So you can look them all up on IFMA's website.
Okay, great. Again, that thumbs it up right there. Thank you.